Now, next we will be talking about the way that independent film has become the captivating avenue for untold stories that are relevant to our everyday lives. Now, joining us today to talk about multiple films featured on the Emmy Award-winning PBS program Independent Lens is series producer Lois Fossen. Thank you so much for being back with us.
Great to be here.
So for people who don't know, what is your Independent Lens series?
We're a weekly series on PBS. We're on Tuesday nights. The time shifts a little bit as, you know, check local listings, what PBS is famous for, but primarily here in San Francisco, we're on Tuesday nights at 11 o'clock from October through June.
Okay, now let's go ahead and give people a little sample of a clip, you know, to give them an idea of what they may see.
Great.
I had always thought of Augie as one of my bad uncles, but when I first met up with him, he wanted a clean slate. He was concerned about being judged by the family.
You should always judge a person by the way they are when you first meet them, not by their past, because everybody has skeletons in their closet.
A year after his deportation, Uncle Augie was barely getting by, doing odd jobs with tools that my mother had sent him, and he continued to struggle with drug addiction.
My family here, at first, they were helping me out, but then they saw how I was getting all skinny, and they knew it. They're not stupid, you know. They knew I was using.
So tell me about Lost Souls, that particular clip, that particular film, and why it was chosen to be in this very, prominent series.
Lost Souls is a film by a filmmaker named Monica Navarro, and it's a study, a look at her family. Her father, her uncle, was deported to Mexico. He got into trouble with the law here, and it was really, for us, a really different way to look at the issue of immigration, which is something we talk about all the time and is always in the news. And so we follow this one family struggle in a very personal way, and what are the impacts on deportation and immigration.
Okay, and we do have another clip from a film called Whatever It Takes.
Sean Smalling, that's right. Aridal Sukram. You know, you can put your finger there, so it has a nice little dimple. Right, did you see how I did this? I came over the top, right? And then from the bottom, I wrap up. Okay, listen to me closely. You need to come now, okay? School starts at 8:30, young man. I don't need you worrying about the uniform and not coming to school. You have to be in class. Okay, bye-bye.
Tell me a little bit about that one, Whatever It Takes.
Yeah, it's a wonderful film that looks at a charter school in the Bronx, which is really charged with this mandate to revolutionize education. And as we saw, this is a first-time principal who, it's really a profile of his life. He left this high-paying job in the commercial world, in the fashion world, to become a principal, to really motivate young people to try to change their lives in this very difficult neighborhood where they're often neglected for one reason or another. And he's a very dynamic person, and we follow him really struggle with the kids, the teachers, the families, how to get kids engaged in school and off to college, really. That's his goal.
And you know what I love about documentaries? It's a way to take a microscope into one thing and examine it, but it always carries such a bigger implication that sometimes you don't even feel until days after.
That's it, absolutely. I mean, one of the things we love about the films we pick for Independent Lens are they're character-driven films. So you really follow some person.
You have to humanize it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So issues large like, you know, education reform and immigration are really hard when you just talk about them in sound bites. And we hear that on the news, maybe 10-second sound bites, 20 seconds if you're lucky. The goal of independent film is to really go under that story and take viewers into the lives where people are affected by it and how they react to it and how we're all engaged in it in one way or another. And it impacts our lives, whether we think that uncle who was deported is a part of our life or not. What's happening to him does reverberate in our lives.
When I went to college, I thought I was going to be a documentary filmmaker, and then I had to pay my loans back, and then you have to be really established, the Ken Burns, to get the money. But it seems like these days, with the technology and with opportunities, there is actually more opportunity for independent film.
There's more independent film than ever. The number of people making film who are just picking up a camera, editing at home in their own Avid suites, and it's unrelenting almost. There's hundreds and hundreds of films. We looked at over 600 films to choose the 27 that ended up on the series. And that's just sort of the tip of the iceberg. There's hundreds of more films out there that we didn't even get a chance to look at. So
and the quality's really good.
Exceptional. I mean, we're very proud.
To be expensive.
Yeah, not at all. I mean, we're very proud to have an Academy Award nominee this year for one of our films, and they're all independent filmmakers who are out there year in and year out following these incredible stories in their community.
Well, it makes your job hard because you have to pick them.
It's true, and watch a lot of films. A lot of films.
Oh, darn, that's a great job.
Yeah, it's a terrible thing to have to do.
Well, thank you so much for being here to explain all of this. Let's tell people more how they can find out more. Thanks for coming, Lois. To catch one of the films we discussed today, check your local listings for PBS, as we mentioned. And for more information, log on to cbs5.com/BaseSunday. Click on Show Information and then click on Independent Lens. And we'll be back with more after this break.